So it's probably 60 degrees right now. It's pretty breezy, as you can tell. I just saw my chicken window blowing across the yard. Week before last, it was warm. Then we got this big cold snap, a big snow. Last week it was warm, got a cold snap, then it snowed. Actually sleet and rain, freezing rain. And it was on what, Wednesday and Thursday, I guess. So now it's warm, and guess what? They're saying 5 inches of snow and cold Wednesday and Thursday. We're in these huge cycles of warm and cold temperatures. And it's not just like, you know, below freezing. It's like 10 degrees cold. So it's pretty dramatic. I tested the well this morning. As you know, I have a pretty old well. I've tried to fix it up. I tested it this morning to make sure that the flooding waters that we had didn't get into the well, and it doesn't appear that the well got dirty. So the measures I put in place seem to be working most of the time. I tell you, the vehicles around here, when they drive by, they're the loudest vehicles in the country. They're all a bunch of farm vehicles. But I had a thought that I've never showed anybody. These solar panels, Rich Solar, are great. They're very inexpensive solar panels, and you can get them for like $80 a piece on Amazon. But the thing is they're built a little cheap. When you get to the back side of the solar panels, they have wires that come into them like this. Let's see. Well, those wires decay some reason or another, and they get disconnected. I don't know why. So I've rewired most of the panels now myself. But like you can see, like this one, this is the original wire on this panel. Occasionally you'll start to notice your amps are dropping on your charge controller. The volts are always the same. All the panels are the same volts, so let's just, for sake of argument, let's call it 20 volts. It doesn't matter if one panel's working or all the panels working, you're only get 20 volts. But you'll start to notice your amps are decreasing, and that means that your solar panels are failing one at a time. So right now, let's say I should have like 40 amps, but then you know, a few weeks later I got 30 amps, and after that, so you know the panels are starting to drop off. What I did to figure out which panels are dropping off is I cover the panels. You can flip them over, whatever you want to do, put them, but make sure that they're not in the sunlight. So you flip them over. I just take a big board and I lay across of it, and then one at a time you expose each panel one at a time. Then you go to your charge controller and you see, okay, this one's got 4 amps, that's working, that's right. And then you go to the next one, you cover that one back up. You go to the next one, you'll say, oh, 0 or 1 amp, or, you know, very little amps. And then you'll know that one's defective somehow. Somehow the wiring is messed up. That way you can start to isolate. I've never explained that before. And believe it or not, it actually took me a little while to figure that out. I don't know why it took me so long, but what I would do actually is I come out with a little tester and I would test each one. I'd disconnect each panel, just check each one. But it would take forever because you had to unwire it, rewire it, sometimes put new wires on it because you messed it up. But just flipping them over or putting a board on it makes it so much easier to test. So I'm going to start the generator up. It's a pretty warm day. I shouldn't have too many problems with it. Now again, I'm just going to let that warm up while I get the hose hooked up to the well, and then I can fill my tank. The tank's going to be pretty empty today. Carolyn's doing laundry for the last 2 days, and I usually fill it up every other day. But since it was so cold yesterday, I was afraid that my hose would freeze before I could get the water to running. So I just let it go. So it's going to be pretty low. I'm actually pretty concerned that we might be about out. I tell you, walking in the snow sure does take your breath away. On the other side of the house, it is just a skating rink. So I've told Carolyn, don't even attempt to go over there. Put a tarp here. That way the wind doesn't blow into the tank quite as bad. Yeah, it's not terrible. It's about half empty, a little bit more than half empty. It's probably the lowest it's ever been since we've moved up to the house, but it's pretty low. Now, one of the things that I wanted to point out also is I put chlorine bleach in the water. I've said this many times. Every time I say it, somebody will say, why do you do that? I don't know. I've said it like in every video nearly about water. So let me explain why I put bleach in it. Because the well is so old and it does leak dirty water into the system when it rains heavy. At least I think it does. It did one time, let's put it that way, since I've fixed it up. So I put bleach in it. I filter the water. That's what I'm doing now. I'm pulling out the filters and the hoses and all that. So that takes the dirt out of it, but it doesn't take the bacteria out of it. So I got to still kill the bacteria, so I put bleach in it. Well, now the bleach will evaporate. It'll either evaporate, or you can boil it off, or you can use the Berkey like we do. So we just make sure that our water's extra purified. Not only do we bleach it, that's purification. Then we Berkey it, that's purification. Of course, now every piece of clothing I own has a bleach stain on it. I'm sure, well, on the back of my shirt here, I don't know, you might be able to see I've got a bleach stain on the back. I don't know how that happened, how I get it on my back. That one's actually pretty big. So I don't wear my new coat out here when I'm hooking all this up and pouring bleach in it, because I keep staining my coat, and that's an expensive coat. I don't want to do that. The thing I wanted to point out though is when Carolyn is doing laundry like this, she doesn't pay attention to what I'm doing, and that's fine. I don't expect her to. I try to make life as easy for her as possible, and she does laundry whenever she wants to do laundry, and I try not to interfere with that. I always try to make sure she's got plenty of water. In the summertime, she likes to use these sinks to do laundry, so I make sure those sinks are always full in the summertime. So right here, you probably hear she's just kicked on the water. I'm sure you can hear that. So that means she's filling a bucket of water so she can do her laundry, and I try not to interfere with that at all. The thing I got to worry about though is the bleach. If I'm putting bleach in with the tank only being half full, it's going to be very potent, the bleach is. So when she's filling her buckets, it's going to be total bleach water. And then she puts colored clothes in it, and then we got a big tie-dye situation with all our clothes. So what I do is I wait until I put bleach in, until the tank is nearly full. I want the hose running. I want the water running into the tank when I put the bleach in. That way it'll stir up. But I don't want to have it so potent. So I wait until it's almost full, then I put the bleach in. That way it doesn't bleach out the clothes. Just things you got to think about. And actually, I didn't think about it until one day, and I'm out there and I've got the tank half empty. I just dumped a bunch of bleach in, and Carolyn kicks on the pump. Of course, I ran right in. I told her to stop, so we didn't have bleached clothes. I think the best part about this lifestyle is, other than the water, most of what we do is already just kind of part of the system. It's part of life. Just like your house. You got an electric switch, you turn on the lights, you don't even think about it. Water heater kicks on, you don't even think about it. Most of our life is that way. The only thing I have to worry about is making sure that tank's full. That's my only job that is pretty consistent, that is, I guess for lack of a better word, inconvenient. But I do it this way because the well pump is such a big motor. I have to run it off generator or when the sun's up in the sky. But the rest of the time, the water's being pumped with that little 6 amp water pump. The solar panels can handle that quite easily. So that's why I do it. But the thing I want to make sure is that Carolyn never has an inconvenience. If she wants lights, lights come on. If she wants water, water comes on. If she wants hot water, she's got hot water. If she's cold, there's heat. Obviously, I guess the wood heat is not as convenient as a gas furnace, but I just enjoy the wood heat, so it's not a big deal to me. We got enough firewood now. I probably won't have to get too much more in my lifetime. Over the next several years, 2 or 3 years, get one cord each year, because that's about what we're using, half cord, 1 cord. And so if I see free firewood somewhere, I'll go get it. Just the 3 truckloads is all it is. And then I can spend the rest of the summer or the rest of the year splitting it up, stacking it. It won't be a big deal, because we got plenty now. I think the thing's going to end up happening is I'll die and I have so much firewood left over, people will be coming scavenging it while my dead body is decaying in the house. So I'm going to hook this hose up to the well here. I guess I need to get busy. A lot of people have really enjoyed my videos recently now that I'm just kind of doing my chores and just talking about whatever's going on. The views have actually picked up quite a bit on this channel. I mean, it was in real decay before and I never could understand what to do to fix it. And when I decided not to put a lot of attention into the channel, and you know, of course I'm working on that new channel now, I'm putting all my attention on that, people seem to really be enjoying this channel. Just me talking and screwing a hose onto the well. I mean, you would think that would be the most boring video, at least I would think. But then I looked at another YouTube channel and that's what he used to do. He's doing something a little different now. And I guess he did pretty good, so I guess I should have followed suit. I don't know. It's just, YouTube's hard to understand what to do with. So I'm kind of glad things are picking up. I'm not holding my breath. It's been down for so long. It's been over a year now that this channel has been in decline, that I'm not holding my breath that things are going to get better. But it was interesting to think, well, you know, last few weeks I've been just kind of walking around hooking up hoses and people have been watching. As I've showed you before, these are my filters here, right here. And one thing I got to be really careful of in the wintertime is the hoses getting twisted up. That pump will get hot if water isn't constantly flowing. If you'll check out this up next box, that'll take you over to my other channel. I'd really appreciate it. Watch some funny videos. So I hope I can inspire you to make it easy on yourself when you're living your dream. Thanks for watching.